There's a moment, right before a scandal breaks, where everything still looks completely normal. The arena is full, the players are warming up. The commentators are debating matchups and stats and who's going to cover the spread tonight. And somewhere across the country, in a room that has nothing to do with basketball, someone is already counting the money. They've been counting it for 2 years. Nobody in the league knew. Or at least, that's the official version. October 23rd, 2025. 3 games into the NBA season. And on a Thursday morning that felt like any other Thursday morning, it wasn't. The FBI moved, not into an arena, not into a front office, into a hotel in Orlando, Florida, where a Miami Heat guard was getting ready for the season opener against the Magic. His name was Terry Rozier. He was arrested before tip-off. Across the country in Portland, Oregon, a Hall of Fame coach was taken into federal custody. Chauncey Billups, 5-time All-Star, Finals MVP. One of the most decorated names the NBA has produced in a generation. A third man, Damon Jones, former player, former assistant coach, a man who had spent 2 decades building relationships inside the league, was also in handcuffs by morning. By the end of that day, 34 people arrested, 4 Mafia families named, 11 states covered, tens of millions of dollars traced. FBI Director Kash Patel stood in front of cameras and said, with the particular calmness of someone who has seen a lot, the fraud is mind-boggling. And the NBA, a league that had just signed a $77 billion media deal that was supposed to be entering its golden era, had a problem. A very old problem, wearing very new clothes. But here's the thing, nobody was asking that morning. Why did it take 2 years? To answer that, we need to go back. February 2023, Charlotte, North Carolina. The Hornets are playing the New Orleans Pelicans, routine game. Nothing on the line. Terry Rozier warms up, takes the court, plays 10 minutes, and then walks off. Foot injury, the team says. Standard stuff. Players get hurt. This happens 40-50 times a season across the league. Except, before the game even started, something unusual had moved through the sports betting market. More than $200,000 in prop bets, specifically targeting Rozier's individual statistics, had been placed across multiple accounts in multiple states. All of them betting the under, betting that Rozier would perform poorly or disappear entirely. Now, $200,000 is not an enormous amount of money in the context of sports gambling. Serious bettors move numbers like that on a busy Saturday in October. What made this different wasn't the size, it was the precision. The bets were placed just before tip-off, just before the information about Rozier's plans could reach anyone else, layered across enough accounts to avoid automatic alerts at the sportsbooks. Someone knew something. The FBI noticed. And here is where the story takes its first unexpected turn. Because the NBA noticed too. They flagged the activity. They sat down with Rozier. They interviewed him multiple times throughout 2023. And then, after months of internal investigation, in January 2025, the NBA announced its conclusion. No violation of league rules found. Terry Rozier was cleared. The FBI, however, had not stopped watching. Because the NBA was looking at data, the FBI was looking at phones. To understand what the FBI actually found, you need to understand one man, Damon Jones. Not the player, though he had a solid career. 11 years in the league. A shooter. Won a championship alongside LeBron James in Cleveland in 2016. Made over $20 million across his career. What matters here is what he did with the thing money can't buy. Access. After his playing days ended, Jones became a coach, an assistant. He moved through organizations, Cleveland, the Lakers, the Pistons, the way a lot of former players do, staying close to the game, staying connected. And his connection to LeBron James gave him something particularly valuable, informal access to the Lakers' training facility. According to reporting at the time, Jones participated in drills at the Lakers complex. He wasn't officially on the coaching staff. He was just around, a familiar face, a trusted one. Nobody questions why a former champion is hanging around. Why would they? According to the federal indictment in February 2023, the same month Rozier was staging his early exit in Charlotte, Jones sent a message to a co-conspirator. Get a big bet on Milwaukee tonight before the information is out. LeBron James sat out that game against the Bucks. Ankle soreness. LeBron is not accused of any wrongdoing. He didn't know. He never knew. But that's almost the point. He didn't need to know. The value wasn't LeBron's participation. The value was proximity to him, access to the building, casual conversations in hallways that nobody thought twice about. Jones allegedly took that access and sold it. And that was only one part of what he was doing, because Damon Jones, according to prosecutors, was also the bridge between two worlds, the world of professional basketball and the world of La Cosa Nostra. High-stakes poker has always existed in NBA culture. Any player from any era will tell you. Cards on the team plane, bourrée games in hotel suites, late-night tables after road wins. It's woven into the social fabric of professional sports. It's so normal that nobody really thinks about it, which apparently was the entire business model. According to the indictment, an illegal poker operation had embedded itself inside the NBA's social world. And it wasn't just running games, it was rigging them. The technology involved deserves a moment of appreciation, because it is, and there's no other word for it, elaborate. Shuffle machines that had been secretly modified to control card distribution. X-ray tables, actual X-ray imaging technology that could read the value of face-down cards from below. Contact lenses and specially made glasses that allowed certain players to read markings on cards that were invisible to everyone else. This was not a couple of guys with a stacked deck in a back room. This was an operation. High net worth individuals were being invited to sit down and play poker with a Hall of Famer. Because when a legend of the game invites you to his table, you don't think, I should be suspicious of this. You think, wait until I tell people about this. Chauncey Billups was named in the indictment as one of the figures used to attract victims into these games. He has denied everything. His attorney described him as a man of integrity who would never risk his Hall of Fame legacy, his reputation, and his freedom, which is, on its face, a reasonable argument. The problem is that 34 people were arrested that morning. 4 Mafia families, including La Cosa Nostra, were named. And the money that flowed through those rigged tables didn't stay in the room. It moved through cryptocurrency wallets, through shell companies, layered across financial systems designed specifically to make it disappear. They didn't need to hide in basements, a federal investigator said after the arrests. They hid in plain sight. A poker night with an NBA Hall of Famer isn't suspicious. It's aspirational. And that distinction between what looks normal and what actually is precisely where this operation lived for 2.5 years. The scale of what was uncovered only becomes clear when you look at the full picture. This wasn't a local poker ring that got lucky. This was a multi-state conspiracy running across 11 states, touching 4 organized crime networks and generating tens of millions of dollars. And it had a history inside the NBA that predated the 2025 arrests. In 2024, a full year earlier, a Toronto Raptors forward named Jontay Porter had been banned from the NBA for life. His offense, removing himself from games early to benefit bettors who had placed wagers on his statistics. He pleaded guilty to wire fraud conspiracy. 2 defendants in the 2025 indictment were connected to the Porter case as well, which means the FBI didn't start from zero in October 2025. They had been following threads from 2023 through Porter in 2024 and into the larger network that produced the mass arrests. It was one investigation, running for years. And the entire time it was running, during the 2023 to 24 season, during the Porter ban, during Rozier's internal NBA clearance in January 2025, the league was publicly presenting itself as having the situation under control. Commissioner Adam Silver, to his credit, was direct after the arrests. Federal authorities have greater investigative resources, he acknowledged, which is technically accurate. It's also a fairly diplomatic way of saying the NBA's investigation and the FBI's investigation were not operating at the same level. The NBA could review betting data and conduct interviews. The FBI could build a 2-year federal conspiracy case involving organized crime. The gap between those two things is not a gap in effort. It's a gap in what each institution is legally equipped to do. But it does raise a question worth sitting with. In the years since sports betting became legal across most of the United States, generating enormous new profit for leagues, broadcasters, and sportsbooks alike, has anyone actually built the infrastructure to catch what happens when people inside the game start exploiting it? Or did everyone just assume it wouldn't happen? Asking for a friend, or 34 defendants for. The obvious comparison, the one every sports commentator reached for immediately, was Tim Donaghy, an NBA referee caught betting on games he officiated, connected to the Gambino crime family, 15 months in federal prison. David Stern called him a rogue official, an isolated incident. The NBA updated its policies. Everyone moved on. Donaghy himself resurfaced after the 2025 arrests, and with the particular authority of someone who has been through federal court for exactly this type of thing, predicted this was not the end. Now, Donaghy is not exactly a neutral voice on the subject of NBA integrity. That's worth acknowledging. But the structural comparison is real. In 2007, a lone referee with mob connections was called an anomaly. In 2025, an active player, a Hall of Fame coach, a former assistant with 20 years of relationships, 4 crime families, and a 2-year federal investigation covering 11 states. That is harder to call an anomaly. That starts to look like a system, not a broken one, necessarily, but one with gaps that certain people, motivated, well-connected, and patient, knew exactly how to use. The immediate consequences arrived quickly. Rozier and Billups, indefinite leave, both maintaining their innocence. Damon Jones, the first to break. In April 2026, he pleaded guilty. 2 counts of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Sentencing scheduled for January 2027. He agreed to forfeit $35,000. For a man who made over $20 million in his career, $35,000 is not a number that stings financially. What's gone, and what cannot be recovered, is the access itself. The training facility visits, the trusted relationships, the 20 years of goodwill built inside NBA locker rooms. That currency doesn't come back. Meanwhile, prosecutors announced they were seeking additional charges against Rozier. The federal cases against Billups and Rozier remain open. And the FBI, as U.S. Attorney Joseph Nocella confirmed at the October press conference, said the investigation was still ongoing. Still ongoing, 2.5 years in, 34 arrested, 1 guilty plea entered, and the investigation is still ongoing, which means there are people connected to this, people who moved money, placed bets, attended poker games, shared information, who have not yet been named publicly. The indictments describe co-conspirators by number. Co-conspirator 1, co-conspirator 8. Some of those numbers have faces attached to them. Those faces haven't appeared in court yet. The NBA enters 2026 as the most globally dominant basketball league in history. Its players are among the most recognizable athletes alive. Its new $77 billion media deal represents one of the largest entertainment contracts ever signed. Viewership is up 14% year over year. By every public metric, the league is thriving. And yet, 4 mafia families found enough access, enough opportunity, enough willing participants, enough cover to build a multi-state criminal operation inside its edges, one that ran for years. Not because professional basketball is uniquely corrupt, but because professional basketball is uniquely valuable. And when something is worth that much, the people who want a piece of it aren't always the ones buying tickets. Some of them buy information. Some of them buy access. Some of them sit down at a poker table with a legend of the game, and they've already seen every card in the deck. Damon Jones pleaded guilty. But Jones was one man, and this operation ran for 2.5 years, across 11 states, through 4 crime families, inside one of the most monitored sports leagues in the world. Which means the real question, the one that doesn't have a clean answer yet, isn't who got caught, it's who didn't.